Hello and welcome back to the Not Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks, here to look ahead briefly to the weekend Scottish Premiership matches as we head into the post-split fixtures. Looking at the table, there's probably not a huge amount of teams playing for, don't I say, significant prizes. You've also got people wanting to finish as high up in the league as they can, but there are only a few who are playing for proper prizes, so to speak. So we'll get into all that in this short wee video, as well as hearing from managers along the way. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Celtic v Livingston probably highlights that point that I'm making just nicely. Two teams in the top six, of course. Celtic's full focus on the Scottish Cup. They will be finishing second this year. They won't win the title. And Livingston, again, probably one of the teams who have got something a bit to play for. They are only 5 points off an Aberdeen team who scored, I think, 2 goals in 11 matches. Two of them scored by Callum Hendry, who can't play this weekend against his parent club, bizarrely. But yeah, against a starting Aberdeen team, it'd be fair to say, although this will be a fairly difficult task for Livingston, you could say their seasonal objectives are already done as well. European football would be a massive bonus. They are sitting fifth, so even if they do finish fifth, that still could be a possibility depending on how the Scottish Cup goes and things like that. But they will be looking to try and make some ground on Aberdeen this weekend against a Celtic side, perhaps with one eye on the Scottish Cup the following weekend against Rangers, which is is the biggest game of their season in terms of winning silverware. Hamilton versus Dundee United, definitely. Dundee United less so. They are sat in the bottom half. They are in eighth. The battle for seventh has been well dubbed, but it's more you just want to finish as high up league as you can in the bottom six. You're not exactly going to get many prizes for finishing seventh or things like that, especially at a club as big as Dundee United. But for Hamilton, massive match, bottom of the league at present. We've all seen Brian Race's interview from last week. Clearly, it feels some things on the refereeing side are going against Hamilton, and they need to be winning this game. It's as simple as that. The bottom three are separated by only a few points. Hamilton 27th, Kilmarnock in 11th on 28 points. Ross County one above that in 29 points. So it's really tight at the bottom. And with Ross County and Kilmarnock playing each other this weekend, which we'll speak about just shortly, a draw in that game could see Hamilton come right back out the bottom two if they do manage to beat Dundee United, which isn't a given. Dundee United have been a wee bit better in recent weeks, albeit they did stutter over the line with a debatable goal through Nicky Clark in last week's Scottish Cup tie with Partick Thistle. So yeah, it'll be an interesting tie. These games have relatively been tight this season, so one to keep an eye on. Probably one of the more important matches of the weekend. Kilmarnock Ross County, for me, biggest game of the weekend. Winner of this really could be a big factor in who goes down, who stays up. For Ross County, they have got their fate in their own hands. If they win this one, then they do go a fair few points ahead of the bottom two potentially. Win this and they go 5 points clear of bottom side Hamilton should they lose to Dundee United, and they go 4 points clear of Kilmarnock. So 4 points in front of the relegation spots with 4 games to go. It's a fairly decent cushion. They would also get to play Hamilton once more, and it means Kilmarnock would still need to play St Mirren and Dundee United, the two bigger teams. I would say Mull are also in sort of the middle section in this group. They're not quite safe, but they're not quite in danger. So Kilmarnock would still have a few of them to play, as well as that huge game on the final day against Hamilton, which potentially could be a massive one in the fight for survival. But Kilmarnock in decent form as well. Scored 4 in their last 2 games. Kel Lafferty in really, really good form. So they shouldn't be taken lightly. John Hughes will know that. Tommy Wright, actually, had a few words with him. John Hughes saying all the pressure is on Kilmarnock this weekend. They've perhaps underachieved, and Tommy Wright as much as just said, shut up. So, yeah, take from that what you will. It'll be interesting to see if there's any handshakes. Well, perhaps not handshakes in this current climate, but definitely elbow bumps and things like that to do in the COVID world. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them on the touchline at Rugby Park. But we did hear from John Hughes ahead of the matches. It was cup final time in these matches for Ross County. A disappointing defeat to Inverness in the derby last weekend eliminated them from the Scottish Cup, but they do have 5 Premiership-sized cup finals to look forward to in the remaining matches.
It's been for the last half a dozen games, 10 games, cup final. But it's true. There's no point in shying away from it. It's all to play for. And we can do it because we've beat them before, but it's going to be a whole different challenge. I think they've had a couple of good results of scoring goals, and they're not a bad side. I think Kilmarnock's in a false position, but it's what happens on the day. It'll be a fine margin. I feel that they'll either put it our way or take it away from us. So we're up for it. And the boys, even after the result at the weekend there, it was a case of getting them together and pointing 1 or 2 things out, letting them take that on board. But I've had a fantastic reaction from them in training, you know, and even in a team meeting, there's a real positivity there. So hopefully we can take that into the game on Saturday and, you know, be at our best.
Mull versus St Mirren, probably, don't want to say it's a dead rubber, but 2 teams, St Mirren, their goal was top 6. They're a bit like Celtic, who are further up the table. Their goal is going to be progressing in the Scottish Cup. They can't go any higher than 7th, and they're also not going to get relegated. So perhaps these matches are a chance to try out some youngsters. And Mull, they're probably needing 1 more win to fully move to the position St Mirren, which is going to be safe in playing Premiership football. It takes something pretty shocking at this point for Mull to be dragged back in it, albeit not without the realms of possibility. So Mull perhaps just needing that wee 1 win extra to ease any nerves they've got. Speaking ahead of this match, Jim Goodwin's taking pride in the academy work at St Mirren. That's seen the likes of Dylan Reid attract interest from Bayern Munich, whereas Graham Alexander's wanting to see commitment from his players in these final games, with a whole host of Fir Park stars set to sign new contracts, including Scotland international Stephen Adol.
Yeah, look, it's that was a challenge when I came in sort of early January, that we had to try and keep players from leaving that we didn't want to leave, and we managed to do that. And I think the results in general have borne fruit from that, keeping those quality players here. And then we've just tried to assess who can help us improve next year, and who's done a good job for us. Not previous to my time, because I think it'd be hard to judge, because different managers, different styles, different scenarios, different formations. But we've just tried to give everyone a clean slate from the moment we walked in through the door. And there's other players there that we would like to keep going forward. But it's hard to sort of negotiate with 7 or 8 players all at the same time. So we've probably done it in different sections. But signing Bevis and Robbie, who I feel have done really well for me since I came in. Stephen O'Donnell's a proven international. I think the best right back in Scotland. And if we can just get over that line win, which I think we are close to doing, then it's a great addition for going forward for us. But it also sort of shows the sort of ambition that we've got current Scottish internationals willing to commit themselves to staying at our club, and I think that's testament to the work that everyone at the clubs does. It's a fantastic club to work and play for.
We're in a really good position at the moment with regards to the academy and some of the players that are coming through. And I've been to the last 2 under-18 games, and the one there just a couple of days ago, they beat Rangers 4-3, and a couple of weeks prior to that, they beat Rangers 7-2. So the crop of players at an under-18 level coming again is really exciting. And the fact that we've got Dylan Reid in our ranks, who's the youngest player ever to play in the Premier League, Lewis Jameson, who's now out on loan at Clyde, made his debut early on in the season, and obviously now Jay Henderson making his debut last weekend is what we're all about. I keep saying it, and no doubt people will be sick of hearing me saying it, but it's something that we're very proud of as a club, and certainly me as a manager, I want to be recognised as a young manager that gives youth players an opportunity. So hopefully between now and the end of the season, we'll be able to give Daniel Finlayson his debut as well, and maybe give Henderson and Dylan Reid another couple of appearances before things come to a halt. Yeah, loads of clubs, and Dylan went over to Germany and had a look around Bayern's facilities, and as you can imagine, him and his family were blown away with the infrastructure on offer over there. But yeah, look, this wasn't a financial decision for Dylan and his family, because we had real good conversations with them, and we knew if it was going to come down to finances, then there was no point us being at the table. But we felt that we could offer him something that those other teams couldn't, and that was the opportunity to train with the first team on a daily basis. And if and when the time arises, and if and when he's earned the right, then we'll give him the opportunity to play first team football. So we hope by the time that Dylan comes to the end of his contract at 18 in 2 years from now, we really hope that Dylan's got maybe 50 senior appearances under his belt. Whereas if he went to one of those bigger teams, then he'd be kicking about playing under 18s or under 23s.
St Johnstone versus Aberdeen in Perth again. Aberdeen needing, it's a big one for Aberdeen in terms of they slowly begin to lose ground on Hibs. They're already sort of fighting an uphill battle, but even if Hibs lose, they've got Rangers on Sunday, or even if they do not gain any ground on Hibs this weekend, Hibs lose as well, they are still 7 points off with 4 games to go. They have still got a game to play against Hibs, but given their recent struggles in recent times, you would think that would probably be beyond them. So they win this weekend, it's a completely different picture. They are only 4 points behind, and if they do manage to beat Hibs, then it's only 1 point. So not all is lost yet. But St Johnstone, perhaps definitely 5th, but perhaps 4th and outside better. They're 9 points off that, but they are probably one of the form teams in the league just now. You'd probably say, given the form just now, St Johnstone are actually favourites in this game against Aberdeen. You'd be more shocked if Aberdeen got a win than you would St Johnstone. Perhaps many will predict a draw from this one. St Johnstone, Aberdeen's top striker in recent months, I suppose, has been Callum Hendry, who's obviously contracted to St Johnstone, and he won't play this weekend. So already St Johnstone have dealt a blow to Aberdeen. So should be a decent game, but it'll be very tight. I can't see many goals in this game, especially from an Aberdeen point of view. But one to keep an eye on, especially with Stephen Glass going to be coming in the next sort of week or so. And they are through in the Scottish Cup as well. So perhaps if they are to lose this one, perhaps like a few of the other teams, the Scottish Cup does become the priority. And finally, on the Sunday, Rangers versus Hibs. Rangers haven't lost at home since they lost to Hamilton pre-COVID shutdown of the league. So Hibs are under no illusions of what task lies ahead of them at Ibrox. They did all right on the Christmas festive fixture away to Rangers, but this Rangers side have been so relentless that it doesn't really matter if you're Hibs, Celtic, or any of Europe's better sides. A lot have struggled there. I think Slavia Prague are pretty much one of the only teams to win there this season, and they look like they're in a strong position to go through the Europa League semi-final, so that probably tells you all you need to know. Very few have scored there. Off the top of my head, I think Callum Lang of Mull is the one that, off the top of my head, that scored there. But few have this season. And it'll be a big task for Hibs this week, though. It's been definitely exciting times for Hibs. Potential Europa League group stage not Europa League, but European. Could be Europa League group stage football if the results go their way, but could likely be the Europa Conference that's coming into play next season. And exciting times. Speaking to Ron Gordon this weekend, there'll be a fuller video with that. Some of my thoughts on the sort of meeting with Ron Gordon, some of his clips, and some of Jack Ross's thoughts. That'll be on this Sunday before Hibs Rangers. But another talent attracting interest at Hibs this week in the middle of that positive news is Josh Doig. Really enjoy listening to him whenever he does press, and he was up in the papers this week again. Brendan Rodgers of Leicester City now scouting him, added to the list of Leeds United, Man City, Arsenal, Celtic were linked at 1 point, Rangers, Sunderland. Lots of big English teams are after him. I know some might laugh that I've just included Sunderland when I mentioned Chelsea, Arsenal and stuff, but still a very big club down south. Shouldn't forget that. But speaking to Jack Ross ahead of Sunday's match, he says sky's the limit for the young left back.
I think he's got attributes that give him a very, very good chance of that. So I think it's one thing to start playing regular first team football at a very good level at 18. But second of all, I think you have to dig a bit deeper and look at what he has in his locker, what he's shown already, and what we still feel he can improve upon. So he's got, in my opinion, all the necessary attributes to reach that level of the game. And I think that people start discussing young players of the year, etc. in this country. I can't see many that will be better than him over the course of the season. How consistently he's played in our first team. He's been part of a team that's consistently challenged at the top end of the table, and his performance level within that time has been hugely consistent as well. So for an 18-year-old teenage fullback, far and away the best in the league this season in terms of overall as a young player, will be up there with any across the league as well.
And that's all we've got time for on this preview. We hope you have enjoyed. Do check out that video we've got out on the Hibs sort of situation. Very positive one. Really liking the look of how Hibs are going about their business just now under Ron Gordon, and that was the first time I've heard from him personally this week, and was very impressed by what I heard. So do check that out on Sunday, and also check out all our content over the weekend from these games. We'll be at the 4 of the matches that don't include Celtic Park on Saturday. So that'll be Hamilton, Dundee United, Kilmarnock, Ross County, Mull versus St Mirren, and St Johnstone Aberdeen. We'll have coverage, reactions, reports, etc. from all these games, as well as our usual review show on probably the Monday after the Rangers Hibs game. So we hope you have enjoyed. Do remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, take it easy.